Hey folks, I just want to check in and talk about what we're working on over here at Creekside Cabin Games the last couple weeks. I stopped updating the textual blog, it's just too much time. So I'm just going to be making these freeform videos to keep you up to date. Starting last week, I wanted to create a asset for the Unity store, so I started working on something called current control. So let's open that up and we'll take a quick look at what that does. It unfortunately got declined from the App Store because I have some third-party stuff in there. Yeah, we'll look at current control. The idea is basically if you've ever played The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, the introduction just has kind of panning images with music playing and text, and I kind of wanted to take that idea for my game just because it's a pretty simple way of explaining the narrative, and I have an artist I really like that he potentially could make all the art for that, so I could do all the narrative in my game that way. And I said, well, what the hell, why don't I try to put it on the internet for sale? I don't know if it's good enough to sell or not, but like, we'll see. But basically, and I'm going to make a tutorial video of this pretty soon showing how it works, but we just create a camera and a canvas, and the canvas basically has a controller. The controller really, all it does is skip the cutscene with a key you enter, or it allows you to skip at the end of a duration. And then you configure which scene to load after you hit enter. So basically you can imagine a cutscene playing, you hit enter, skip right to gameplay, or several cutscenes in a row you can use to skip between. And then there's a few controllers in the cutscene, the text, the image, and the music, and they all work in the same way. They do fade in and fade out of the different pieces of text or whatever, the different images. So I think I have a sample one set up here maybe we can look at. So we got the loud music playing there, and yeah. So you can see that kind of just gives you the idea. So that'll be coming out on the Unity store once it gets approved in a couple weeks, hopefully. So other than that, I've done some work on the snowboarding game too. I made the demo a couple weeks ago, and that really helped me understand some of the big I mean, obviously the game's nowhere near even being a game yet, but outside of like creating levels and stuff, I knew there's mechanics stuff I wanted to work on, and again, making the demo made that really clear. And one of the things that I found real annoying was like every time the character hit the ground, it just like snap to the ground and stay there because it wasn't bouncy. If it was bouncy, the character would bounce up and down, and like the states wouldn't work right. The jumping, braking, accelerating wouldn't work right. And I've been messing with this problem for a long time. The first couple weeks of development, I really got held up because I was trying to get like bounciness working. So I tried putting basically using wheels instead of just a flat rigid body that slides, and putting shocks on the wheels. But it was just really I couldn't get it working. It was just too much of a headache. So I went with like the slapping body. I went with the slapping rigid body. Then I had an idea. What if I separate like the actual thing? What if I have the thing that the player controls, right? And inside there's a little body that's suspended by springs. So when we hit, the board hits the ground and then the body bounces up and down. Just like a snowboarder, you can imagine if the snowboarder has bent knees, when he's going along, right, his knees will be bending as his board's on the ground. So what I'm trying to do is get that vibe going. So let's see if I can articulate how that's working. So let me move my level start somewhere where we're going to be able to see that easily. So we'll see as I come down the hill and move into the turn. My character's going to compress. Let's make this bigger so it's real easy to see. Alright. Just gotta wait for my controller to connect now. I got a new Xbox Series 1 X controller and it's kind of a pain in the butt. So let me make this larger so we can maybe see. Alright, so you can kind of see the sprite of Klonoa there, is the character, bouncing up and down with respect to the red bar, which represents the box that glides along the ground. And then when we jump, you can see the character kind of jumps first, and then the snowboard comes up under him, and then kind of catches up in air, which is, yeah, this is all to kind of simulate a snowboarder hitting the ground. There's also a max depth that the character can go down, right, like that, so that it kind of looks like you're smashing into the snow. So if you can imagine kind of hitting the snow and your body going flat because you just hit so hard. That's what we're trying to show there. And we'll change the animations to keep up with that. Alright, the next thing I want to show off, I'm going to stop this, is we have charge jumping now. Actually, now I can show it here. So before, in the last demo, you just press A to jump. And there are two things I fixed this week. There's raycasts coming down from the back and front of the red snowboard there. And previously you could only jump if both of those were in such a height from the ground. So basically I didn't want you to be able to jump if you were kind of like, here's flat. I didn't want you to be able to jump if you're moving this way across the course. It just doesn't make sense if you picture a snowboarder. So I found the problem right here. Not both raycasts were touching the ground. So like, there were points where you'd come to this jump or any rounded jump and hit jump and not jump. So I drew a raycast down from the center of the body now. So there's a raycast right in the center of the snowboard that's pretty short, that takes care of if the board's on an angle or not. So if the board's on a slight angle, we're forgiving. We let you go. Also, we have some forgiveness for if you take off and let go of the jump button now. So just like, forgivable jumps should be in every platforming game where no player is good enough to always hit A, right, when they're on the edge of the platform. So anyway, we got that. And also, yeah, the main thing, we have charge jump now. So instead of just hitting A to jump, you have to hold down A and let go to jump. So you can see that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not that cool, but we illustrate the jump power with that sprite behind the character there. And, you know, we'll get some effects in the future. But that just shows how strong the jump is. If I only hold it for a little bit, my jump's weaker. If I hold it the whole way, it's a bigger jump. If I don't hold it long enough, I don't jump. So I don't know if you can see the sprite growing and disappearing there. But there's a little jump. There's a big jump. So what that looks like going up, well, I'm going to have to... We get more dramatic air. It's way more easy to control. Let me stop, change where my level start is so we can get a more dramatic view here. So I get a little more speed going. Man, I think Unity's having a connection with me recording or something. Like, I can't click. Oh, I see. It's because... Man, Unity is trash, dude. It's just... like, as a person that's developed professionally with professional tools, I just can't believe the gaming community accepts this as the best tool. Anyway, I digress. So we're going to see how the jump works here. Now we have a little bit of more of a dramatic and easy to control jump here. So I can charge my jump as we're going down the hill and let go anytime here. I just do a quick trick and we land and bump down into the ground. What else have we worked on? We made boosting. So I think I can illustrate that here. So we boost with the right trigger now. And similar to the jump, we're a little bit forgiving, where the boost works if you're bouncing off the ground a little bit. It's just too hard to keep the character glued to the ground without introducing some physics that I don't want to have to deal with. We can, in the top left there's a meter. If we do tricks and land them, that's going to refill our meter. So I'm going to make sure I land this here so you can see our meter filled up. Similar to SSX Tricky, of course. I don't know how integral boost will be to the game, but I found it to be a really good development tool to help me move around. Let's see here. Another thing I did, just some kind of background. Those are the main features that I've worked on. Next week is going to be, I'm reworking how enemies are done. I'm frustrated with it. It's hard to control. So yeah, that's that. I refactored how movement works. It's nothing really to show off. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time I make one of these. Thanks for staying tuned.